If you ever have to use a crow's foot wrench on a torque wrench, this is probably not how you want it set up. Hey, how's it going? Do-it-yourselfers. So whether you're working on your car or appliances around the house, like the mini split I just finished putting in, there will be a time where you have to use a crow's foot wrench on a torque wrench in order to torque something down. Now, it's important to know exactly how to use this and how to place this crow's foot wrench on the torque wrench in order to get the correct torque on whatever fastener you're tightening down. So that's what we're going to go over today. Now, of course, you don't necessarily have to use a crow's foot wrench on a torque wrench with a square drive like this. You can simply go and purchase a precision torque wrench that works with these crow's foot wrenches that go on like this, and you don't have to worry about how these go on there and how to measure the distance and all the things we're going to go over, and this would work just fine. Of course, this is going to cost a little bit. I'll put a link to this set, which I'm pretty happy with, in the description box for anyone that's interested. But of course, if you're not going to be doing this very often and you want to save some money, it's best to learn how to use them with your regular torque wrench. All right, so as some of you may know, torque equals force times distance. So in this example, you're applying the force here at the handle of this torque wrench, and then the distance between the center of this handle to the center of this square drive would be the distance. Now, to be precise, it's usually not the center of the handle actually. It's actually one of these grooves. I'm going to assume it's probably this center groove that the manufacturers usually use, and it's usually a little bit further back from the center of the handle. So the manufacturer uses this distance from here to the center of this square drive at this end to calculate and set up everything, where you would set this to whatever torque you want, and once you apply enough force, you'll hear that click. Now, obviously, if you have a socket on here, you're not changing the distance from this square to this groove on the handle. However, if you got a crow's foot wrench and you put it on here like this, now you're increasing the distance from the center of this crow's foot wrench to this groove on this handle. And therefore, when you hear that click on your torque wrench, let's say you set it at 40 or whatever foot-pounds, you're actually not torquing the fastener that's at this end to 40 foot-pounds. Now, a super easy solution to this problem is to simply twist this crow's foot wrench to 90 degrees. And therefore, in this location, you're going to have the same distance from the center of this crow's foot wrench as you would have from this square drive to this groove or the center of this handle on this torque wrench. And therefore, you don't have to mess with calculating anything to get the right torque amount. But as you may come to find out, it's not always convenient or even possible to get a torque wrench with a crow's foot wrench at 90 degrees into a tight spot. And therefore, it might actually be easier to either do it like this or, different angles, maybe 45 degrees or whatever. And if that's the case and you're working on something that requires precise torque specifications, you want to learn this formula and apply it. And the formula basically looks like this. It's going to be the torque spec for whatever fastener you're torquing down. Let's say it's 50 foot-pounds times the distance being the distance between the center of the groove on the handle to the center of the square on the other end of the torque wrench over, again, distance plus C. C being the distance that you increase from the center of this square. So basically from here to the center of wherever you decide to put your crow's foot wrench. And you put that into your calculator, then you get the torque wrench setting. And that's what you set your torque wrench to get the correct torque for the fastener you're torquing down, while the crow's foot wrench is on the torque wrench and not at a 90-degree angle. All right, so just to give you an idea, so I plugged in our numbers. Again, let's assume we need the fastener to be torqued down at 50 foot-pounds. So 50 foot-pounds times 15 over, again, distance plus 2 being from 15 to 17, which would be the center of this fastener or this crow's foot wrench. And then we plug all that in, we get 44 foot-pounds, which means we need to set our torque wrench to 44 foot-pounds. Now, obviously, if you're working on something that doesn't require precision, torquing down to something very specific, let's say a engine mount bracket or something, then you don't really need to go through this formula. You just set it up or get it close to as much as you can to being 90 degrees, and you go from there and it should be okay. But if you're working on, something like engine internal parts, then you obviously want to know what you're doing, or even better yet, get one of these. Again, link down in the description box below. Alright, so I hope this video comes in handy for you someday. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification, and also check out my other videos either in the suggestion box down below or on the page. I'm going to put them on here probably somewhere. You can click on them and watch them as well. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.